Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Sidra Mahmood and today our lecture is lecture number 10, which is from course Study of Nuclear Analytical Techniques, and we will discuss the topic of radiochromatography. First of all, we will discuss the key concepts of this lecture. In it, we will discuss the introduction. Introduction is basic introduction of chromatography. We will discuss the principle of chromatography. Then we will move towards the radiochromatography, which is the basic or main theme of our lecture. Then we will discuss the types of radiochromatography, the elements of radiochromatography, the importance of radiochromatography, the measurement methods that we use in radiochromatography, and at the end of this lecture we will discuss the applications of radiochromatography in this lecture. First of all, we will discuss that what is chromatography. Chromatography, we can say, is a physiochemical process in which we will analyze the moving particles physically, and the chemical reactions that are taking place in between the two phases is also analyzed chemically. So it is a basically laboratory technique in which components are separated mutually from one another, that are distributed between two phases. One phase is the mobile phase and other is the stationary phase. Stationary phase is the static phase and mobile phase is the moving phase. The particles which we want to separate move along the mobile and stationary phase, and on the basis of their affinity towards the mobile and stationary phase, we can separate the components mutually from one another. So it is basically a separation technique in which components are separated mutually from one another. The mixture is dissolved in a fluid called the mobile phase, which carries it through a structure holding another material called the stationary phase. The various constituents of the mixture travel at different speeds, causing them to separate. The separation is based on differential partitioning between the mobile and stationary phases. So basically we have discussed it earlier that mobile phase is the moving phase and stationary phase is the static phase. Like stationary phase is spread over the sheet of the plate, like in thin layer chromatography the stationary phase is spreaded on the layer of a thin plate, which we will name as thin layer chromatography. And the mobile phase along with the mixture of components move over the stationary phase, and the particles which show the affinity towards the stationary phase will lagging behind, and the particles which do not show affinity with the stationary phase move along with the mobile phase and move over the column and pass through the end of the column. So in it basically the affinity of particles is studied between the stationary and the mobile phase, and in this way both the particles from the mixtures can be separated from each other. Likewise, in the diagram, we are seeing that eluent is the substance. We can say that it has the analyte particles or the particles that we want to separate mixed along in the sample. We can also say that sample along with its analyte particles are present in the eluent, and eluent is also considered as the part that we want to separate. Then we have the column in which the stationary and mobile phases are present. When the eluent or the particle that want to be separate enters the column, then the particles start showing affinity with that of the stationary phase and the mobile phase, and in this way at the end eluate or the end product which in which the separated components are present move out through the column, and in this way the components are separated. The components that we don't want lagging will will be lagging behind into the stationary phase, and mobile phase along with the eluate components move downward and move from the column. So chromatography is based on the principle where molecules in a mixture applied onto the surface or into the solid and fluid stationary phase is separating from each other while moving with the aid of a mobile phase. Basically, mobile phase is the moving phase, and the components that we want to be separated, we want to separate, move along with the mobile phase in through the column. The basic factors that affecting the separation process includes the characteristics related to the absorption may be a liquid solid, or the partition which may be which also is the liquid solid partition, and the affinity or differences among their molecular sizes. So we have also discussed it earlier that the basic components or the factors that are playing an effective role in determination of the separation process are the absorption, partition, or the affinity of the particles that are that particles are showing towards the mobile and stationary phase. So the affinity which particles are basically showing towards the stationary phase or the mobile phase is basically the main principle of their separation. If particles show more affinity towards the stationary phase, they will remain on the column, and if they show more affinity towards the mobile phase, they will move outward at the end outward or at the end of the column, and will can be again separated from the mobile phase mixture. We can also evaporate the mobile phase, and in this way the separating components can be seen when mobile phase is evaporated, or when mobile phase is separated from the separating mixture, then we can get our desired analyte or components. So because of these differences, some components of the mixture stay longer in the stationary phase and they move slowly in the chromatography system, while others pass rapidly into the mobile phase and leave the system faster. This is again the uh, reason uh, this is again the reason that if particles have more affinity towards the mobile phase, they will move rapidly or fastly through the system, while if they have more affinity towards the stationary phase, they will remain on the column, and they will not move faster, or they will not move outward from the column. They will remain in the column. So basically we are dealing with three components that are mobile phase, stationary phase, and the separated components that are being separated from the mixture. First of all, we have the stationary phase. We can say that it is the static phase, or it is composed of a solid or a layer of liquid absorbed on the surface solid support. Yeah, so we can say that stationary phase is the static phase, and it is present or it is laid onto the uh, column or a thin plate. So stationary phase may be solid or it may be liquid that is absorbed on the surface to support the solid material. So it is the static phase and it may be solid or a liquid. Then we will move towards the mobile phase. A mobile phase is composed of liquid or gaseous components, as it is also considered as the moving phase, which is continuously moving from the column. It is entering along with the sample or analyte components and then moving or releasing out of the column. And at the end we have the separated components that are being separated from the sample mixtures. We have discussed general concept of chromatography. Now we will move towards the basic concept or basic theme of our lecture, which is radiochromatography. Radiochromatography is basically originated from two words, uh, radio and chromatography. So it is basically defined as the chromatography in which radio-labeled substances are qualitatively or quantitatively determined by measuring the radioactivity of the substance. We have different types of chromatographies like paper chromatography, thin layer chromatography, gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, ion exchange chromatography, and electrophoresis. So the radiochromatography is based on paper or thin layer chromatography, though it could also be used in ion exchange column or gas chromatography as well as in electrophoresis. It uses a radio tracer as cation or anion or radio labeled organic compound where a separated cation, anion or compound is identified on the basis of characteristic radiations emitted by the radionuclide. Thus, any chromatographic separation can be carried out using radio tracers. However, no developer chromogenic reagent or detector is used to study the movement of initial spot except nuclear counting equipment or autoradiography. In this way, contribution of activity is measured, which increases sensitivity of the measurement by several fold. Now we will discuss the types of radiochromatography. As we discussed that chromatographic separations may be regarded as falling into two classes. These classes are static and dynamic. In static, the sample components are separated as a mobile phase moves relative to a stationary phase. The movement of the mobile phase is then terminated and this phase is removed, usually by evaporation, leaving the sample components fixed in position on the stationary phase where they may be detected or collected. Classical and high performance thin layer chromatography TLC and HPTLC and paper chromatography and electrophoresis fall into this class. These techniques give rise to a static distribution of components whose radioactivity may be subsequently determined. So in static type of separation, the components along with the mobile phase move over the stationary phase and they show more affinity towards the stationary phase, and in this way the mobile phase when moves over the stationary phase, the mobile phase can be evaporated The lagging behind mobile phase can be evaporated, and in this way the sample components that are fixed on the stationary phase can be analyzed, like in thin layer or high performance thin layer chromatography. Uh, Now is the dynamic type of chromatography. In this uh, class is that in which the sample components are eluted from a column within a mobile phase and detected or collected close to the point of elution before remixing of the components can occur. Gas, liquid, and high pressure liquid chromatography are the major techniques in this class. From the radiochemical viewpoint, the difference between the two classes arise through the different counting techniques required for the detection of radioactivity in a static or a flowing system. Now, if we discuss the basic concept of dynamic type of chromatography, in this class of chromatography, the component mixtures along with mobile phase when moved over the column in which the stationary phase is present, the sample components shows more affinity towards the mobile phase, and they move from the column along with the mobile phase, and in this way the components can be separated through the mobile phase which is collected at the end of the column. And in this type of chromatography, usually gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, and high performance liquid chromatography uh, lies in this dynamic class of chromatography. So if we basically discuss the radiochemical viewpoint, uh, we have seen that in static they show more affinity towards the stationary phase, while in dynamic the reaction mixtures or sample mixtures show more affinity towards the mobile phase. Though the radiochemical viewpoint, the difference between these two classes is due to the counting techniques, or we can say the detection techniques. When the components are being separated, now they have to be detected, and we have to use different detection techniques or different detectors to detect or analyze those components. So in radiochemical techniques, these detection techniques are a bit different from those we use in simple or conventional chromatographic techniques. So the detection techniques of radioactive substances or required for the detection of radioactivity are different than those of the conventional chromatographic techniques used for the static or dynamic types of chromatographies. Now we will discuss the elements of radiochromatography. In all kinds of radiochromatography, there are two major elements which must be considered in addition to the usual factors associated with the particular chromatographic technique. These are the size of the sample and the nature of the radionuclide involved. So basically in radiochromatography, we basically deals with the size of the sample and nature of the radionuclide being used in the chromatographic technique. Now we briefly discuss about how size and nature of radionuclide being used in radio chromatography are taking part uh, in the radio chromatographic techniques. So the size of a sample of radio-labeled material can be very small, especially when carrier-free labeled compounds are involved, and yet the sample may contain a considerable amount of activity. The size of a sample may easily be so small that absorption of components on sample applicators or injection systems represents a significant loss of sample uh, before the chromatographic separation occurs. Small samples also have an annoying tendency to become irreversibly adsorbed on chromatographic stationary phases and support materials, thus introducing significant errors in quantitative results. This is basically how size of sample is affecting the radiochromatographic technique. Now, the second factor of major importance in radiochromatography is the type of radioactive decay of the labeled material under investigation. For example, energetic Y radiation may be relatively easy to detect with a simple scintillation detector, but it presents difficulties in thin layer chromatography because one would like to be able to resolve spots of activity on the plate which may lie only a few millimeters apart. On the other hand, low energy beta emitting isotopes are difficult to detect efficiently in most forms of radiochromatography. So now we will move towards the importance of radiochromatographic techniques. As chromatography involving radio-labeled materials has become increasingly important in recent years, both for the separation and purification of labeled compounds and for the analysis of mixtures from tracer experiments. Radiochromatography has played an important role in the discovery of some transplutonium elements by Glenn T. Seaborg. The identity of each element of 5F series was established beyond any doubt by the sequence of their appearance analogous to the sequence of the corresponding 4F elements. There are many instances of the use of radiochromatography for analytical purposes. Now we will discuss the measurement methods, or we can say the detection methods used in radiochromatographic techniques. First of all, the detection system is autoradiography. We can use autoradiography for radiochromatographic detections. Gamma camera, ionization chamber, cut and count, chromatogram scanning, linear analyzer, electronic autoradiography. These all are the main detection systems used in radiographic chromatographic separations to analyze different radio-labeled compounds based on their detection limits. So these techniques are being used as the detection techniques to analyze different components or different radio-labeled isotopes or compounds used in radiochromatographic separations. Now we will discuss the applications of radiochromatography. How radiochromatography is being used in different studies or in different parameters to help our daily life activities. First of all, radiochromatographic techniques are being used as estimating radiochemical impurities. Like if small or micro impurities are present in a mixture of sample, they may affect highly on the separation or in detection techniques. So those impurities should be removed, and those uh, small or micro impurities of radioisotopes can be estimated by radiochemical or radiochromatographic separations. Then is the determination of impurities in radio-labeled compounds. If radio-labeled compounds contains micro-impurities and if being used in different medicinal or pharmaceutical purposes, then they may cause highly uh, contagious reactions. So to remove those harmful aspects, these radiochromatographic techniques are being used to determine those impurities that are present in radio-labeled compounds. Radioisotopes have been used to study the movement of fertilizers. So these radiochromatographic separations are also used along with radioisotopes to study the movement of fertilizers, how they are working or what efficiencies they are showing into the soil to use for the beneficial purposes. Then is the clinical chemistry of nuclear medicine. Different clinical trials of radioisotopes are being taken in consideration. So these clinical trials of radioisotopes are also being used by radiochromatographic techniques. Radiopharmaceutical Research and Development Laboratory. These radiochromatographic separations are also used in radiopharmaceutical research labs for different analysis and research purposes. It is being used for the drug metabolism studies and also for the soil leaching studies, as different harmful radioisotopes leach into the soil and cause the infertility of the soil. So these radiochromatographic separations helps to determine those components and also helps to separate those components from the soil components so that the fertility of soil can be maintained. So these are the basic or these are the web pages or the web links through which you can also see the points that have been detected from the lecture, so you can clear your concepts if you want to use these references. At the end, we have a little bit assignment that you have to find more applications of radiochromatographic techniques in different fields.